Welcome, colleagues, to our second last workshop of this semester. So we are very honored to have Dr. Maggie Zhao with us today. And the topic today is Evidence Speaks, Utilizing Data to Inform and Improve Teaching and Learning. And I'll briefly introduce Dr. Zhao and I'll hand over to her. Dr. Maggie Zhao is currently the Assistant Director of the Teaching and Learning Innovation Center at the University of Hong Kong. Her research focuses on human learning and well-being through an interdisciplinary lens. And Maggie was elected president of the International Positive Psychology Association Education Division, and she actively serves on various advisory boards and professional committees related to students' learning, well-being, curriculum, pedagogy, assessment, and quality assurance. So I'm sure she'll have a lot to share with us today, especially about how to analyze teaching and learning data. So Maggie, please.
Thank you, Dr. Wang, for the introduction. And hello, colleagues. Really delighted to be here with you today. And it's truly my honor to have the opportunity to speak at this university. I also want to express my gratitude to Dr. Jason Cho and also the Advanced Teaching Learning community for inviting me. So I'm really excited to share my thoughts and also my experience on the topic about evidence-based teaching learning, and also sharing some examples about how we have been making use of data for informing and enhancing teaching and learning. So I hope this will be a two-way conversation, not just me sharing experience, but also I look forward to exploring this topic on evidence-based teaching and learning together. Also look forward to engaging in which I hope will be a stimulating and a productive discussion. So thank you again for having me. So to start off, let's do something together to hopefully get to know everyone better and also hopefully to connect us better. So this icebreaker game is called What If? So basically, I will say a statement like, move if you've had a great day today. If that applies to you, so you may make some movement like wave your hands or maybe stretch your body, any kind of movement, maybe a small movement or maybe creative movement. Since this is lunchtime, so maybe let's move a little bit to before we officially start. So let's try the first one. Move if you have been teaching for more than 1 year. It looks like it applies to almost everyone, mostly our experienced teachers. And second one, move if you've ever used data analytics to enhance your teaching. So any type of data analytics, it doesn't have to be complicated. Maybe look at means, standard deviations. Many of them, yes. And move if you have ever integrated technology into your teaching. Again, any type of technology like a PowerPoint. PowerPoint. Everyone. Oops. Okay. Move if you regularly use student feedback to improve your teaching. So maybe, I've already seen some movement, hands waving. Move if you have overseen the development of an academic program. So basically, this is about serving as like a program leader role or program director role, depending on every university may and call it differently. So some program leader here or program director here. Oh, and move if you regularly review program data to make decisions for your program. Maybe some refinement. Half of this group. Move if you have been involved in accreditation or quality assurance process. But why there's some so it's quite common right here. Yeah, I'm with you. This is also part of my professional life. So last one. Move, you are excited about this talk. Oh, thank you. Thank you for your support for my talk. All right. So I hope we have a good start, and also during the our time together over the next 30 minutes also, here is what I'm gonna cover. So I will start off by giving a brief a global overview about the topic of evidence-based teaching learning. And also I will dive into the case of Hong Kong, so mainly from the experience from my university. And also I will share you several examples and cases about how we have been leveraging data for enhancement. So hopefully this will be about the first half hour of this section, and then we're gonna do some exercise together. So evidence-based teaching learning is not just a concept, it's not just an idea, but really it is also an experience. So let's embody it by doing some exercise together. And then finally, I will share some of my thoughts and recommendations for takeaways. And then finally, we'll make sure we'll have Q&A sessions. So our goal for today is very simple. Hopefully, by the end of the session today, I hope you will leave the session feeling a little bit more informed and equipped with maybe some new ideas or tools for how to making use of data for enhancing and informing teaching and learning. All right, so let's get started officially. So first of all, I would like to talk a little bit more about what I see about the global trend or global pattern about the evidence-based teaching and learning. So I see three keywords: student-centered, data-informed, and the technology-enhanced approach for teaching and learning. So when I first came to Hong Kong or Hong Kong U about 15 years ago, I was really impressed by the idea of student-centered learning. So that was the time when, universities in Hong Kong talk about the curriculum reform, the 334. So it's more about 10 years ago. So this focus on, they really put a great emphasis on putting students at the center or at the heart of teaching and learning for emphasizing such as personalized student learning, encouraging students engagement, and providing tailored support for addressing different student needs. And the second keyword is about data. So data-informed decision making is equally important here. Also, data-informed decision making is not just something happening in higher education. Actually, it happened everywhere. So look at our smartphone or smartwatch, right? They track all kinds of data, analyze all kinds of data about our habits, over health, over lifestyles. And in higher education, the use of data and evidence also has becoming a common practice. I'm sure it's also a common practice here in this university and also happen locally in Hong Kong and also elsewhere in other countries. So continuous feedback plays a very important role in this process, enabling teachers to make timely and informed adjustments for teaching learning, providing targeted support. All of this have an ultimate goal, which is very simple. This is to enhance student learning. And then the third keyword is about technology. So technology has also becoming play a very important role in enhancing education. Recently the influence of artificial intelligence and also generative AI has been substantial. So universities worldwide, not just those in Hong Kong, but universities everywhere are taking proactive steps to leverage this new technology. There have been like many initiatives and discussions, for example, about how to enhance students' AI literacy, how to formulate policies and ethical considerations and guidance for universities, and also maybe like how to use emerging technology and AI to create new opportunities for teaching learning. So let me quickly give you two examples to illustrate this trends. One thing is about the UK Professional Standards Framework (PSF). So basically, this is facilitated by Advanced Higher Education in the UK. So this framework emphasizes the importance of reflective practice, evidence-based teaching, and also professional development. Another example is our Hong Kong quality and audit. So basically, the 8 government-funded universities have to go through the quality assurance, quality audit. And we are now in the third circle of the quality audit, which has a theme on collection, analysis, and the usage of data. Again, this is a good example that demonstrates really the key role of data for informing and enhancing teaching and learning. And also, when we talk about data, actually, there are various types of data. Let me give you some example. There could be like a formative and a summative assessment. Formative assessment, for example, the class quizzes. It provides a way for students to look at where they need to improve, that provide a diagnosis for students to improve their learning. And the summative assessment examples like final exams, standardized tests, and capstone experience. Also, we have like behavior data, for example, time on task. Also, the online behavior that can be captured through the learning management system. So in Hong Kong, you will use Moodle, maybe you use the same thing here. And also observational data, like classroom participation and peer interaction. Also, like the exercise we just did, the move if game, also provides some observation data for me to have a better understanding about your asset and also your teaching experience. And another very important type of data, of course, is student feedback data. Typical example involve the course level feedback data, like the course evaluation survey, and also the program level data. So my talk today will be focusing on student feedback data. This is because this is what I have been doing in my role in my university. So basically, we are central level, university level, or central level center working with teachers and also supporting teachers and the program directors to make use of data for enhancing their teaching learning. And we see survey data as a straightforward, efficient, and the standardized way for systematically collecting student feedbacks and perceptions. Also, it allows us to gather a comprehensive insights directly from students about their experience, their perceptions, their satisfactions at the institutional level. So again, my talk will be focusing on the student feedback data, and very soon I'm gonna share you several examples about how we make use of student feedback data for informing, enhancing teaching learning. But before that, very quickly, I also wanna share with you some global examples of student survey data. One example is the US National Survey of Student Engagement. So basically, they measure student engagement. They ask questions like how many time you spend on your study, on other learning-related activities during your college life. And also another example is the UK National Student Survey. They survey the undergraduate students about their learning experience, including like teaching, assessment, academic support, and learning resources. And also in Australia, they also have a similar survey called the Student Experience Survey. So basically, globally, there are two approaches. One is the US approach, which is mainly the engagement oriented. Another is the UK approach, which is more focusing on the program experience. And at Hong Kong U over survey student learning experience questionnaire is more similar to the UK approach, which is mainly focused on the program level experience. So now I'm gonna dive deeper into the examples of the case of my university. So the flow chart here demonstrate how the data through analytics and validation are turned into generating actionable insights for supporting teaching learning, mainly for supporting quality assurance and also quality enhancement for teaching and learning. And in terms of what kind of survey, so every year we survey undergrad students, including first, second, final year students. We also survey TPG students, postgrad students. We also survey alumni 1 year and 5 years after they graduated from Hong Kong U. And we also ask opinions from employers of Hong Kong U students. These are examples of the program level surveys. Of course, we also have the course level survey. And we have been conducting the survey since year around 2007, 2008. So it has been more than 15 years, which really allow us to analyze the data in multiple ways, longitudinally and also horizontally. So I joined Hong Kong U at the early stage of the survey more than 10 years ago. So I've really had the pleasure to witness students' growth and their positive changes during over the last decade about their experience at the university. And also, I will show you some examples how we have been making use of the data for informing and improving teaching learning into 3 categories. So the first category is about data generate some insights about students. It could be either their academic related or non-academic related perspectives. The second category is about teaching. So the data also play a role for informing teaching, such as curriculum a review, pedagogical strategies, and also assessment strategies. And the third category is about teaching learning environment. So this is more a bigger picture view, not just in the classroom, but more like a program level or even institutional level. And also, actually, in my current job, I'm kind of wear 2 hats. So on one hand, I'm also a course teacher, so I fully understand teaching can be rewarding, but at the same time, teaching can be really stressful, particularly for our new teachers. And on the other hand, I also work a lot with teachers, program directors, which allow me to gain another perspective, which is more look at the teaching learning landscape from a program perspective or from an institutional perspective. So my dual role as a teacher, also as a facilitator for teaching learning, allow me to look at the data at various lenses. And also the examples I'm going to show you will also be providing different perspectives. Some of the examples mainly designed for teachers. Some other examples are mainly hopefully could be used for program directors, because I realize we also have some program directors and department heads here. And also another thing, because of the data confidentiality, so my example here is mainly really to show you how we analyze the data, how we look at the data, how we make use of the data in a general sense, rather than focusing on some specific findings. All right, so the first example is about using data for identifying patterns and also for involve stakeholders. So at my university, the survey data forms 3 teaching learning related KPIs, key performance indicators, including attainment of the educational aims. So some university may call it the learning outcomes. So basically, maybe different universities use different terms, but basically this is about the institutional level learning outcomes. And then the second pillar is about teaching learning environment. The third pillar is about overall satisfaction. And from the quantitative figure, it shows an upward trajectory, reflecting students are feeling more and more positive about their learning experience across different cohorts. So this is a positive message that shows also the continuous efforts and the commitment that the university has been putting into for teaching learning. And also, in addition to quantitative data, we also every year we collect more than thousands of students' open-ended comments. Students are really keen to tell us about their learning experience, including positive ones and also including their suggestions where they see can make some improvement. So this is an example how the data can be used for identify the overall like a summative pattern. And also we also and the data also serve as an essential resource for involving different stakeholders. So at my university every year, actually we visit each faculties to meet faculty deans, associate deans, and program directors to really talk about the data, how we can draw some findings from the data, and more importantly, how we can make use of the data for the program improvement. And the programs are asked to send in a action plan, annual teaching learning reports to address the issues based on data. So it adopts an evidence-based approach and also involving different stakeholders. Sometimes in our meetings, we also involve students to be part of this process. So this example is mainly from an institutional perspective, but actually we also produce the same type of analysis for each program and also for each department and faculties. And also, so this way of analyzing the data can be applied to the program level to show how students perceive about the program to over time to show some overall pattern, and the program directors could further address issues that are identified from the data. So that this is the first example. And then in the second example, we track students' perceptions on 6 institutional level learning outcomes across 4 time points. So this is a longitudinal tracking, a longitudinal design. Basically, we track the same group of students 4 times. At their first year, final year, 1 year after graduation, and then 5 years after graduation. Also, as you can see from the chart here, so during university journey, students they felt more confident in attaining the base university learning outcomes, the practice within the university. And then after graduation, most of the learning outcomes are replacing, but there is a bit for out of six. So our topic is basically about leadership. So maybe when students they graduate from university environment, when they enter the workplace environment, they have a different expectation, different standards for leadership. They feel that like they have more room to improve their leadership skills. And also we talk with the views from employers. We can evaluate employers' views over that in terms of the 6 earning outcomes. Also, our leadership emerged as relatively lower than the other learning outcomes. So this provides a longitudinal cross-year trend for students perceive the learning outcomes. And the program leaders or even the universities may think of different strategies to how to enhance student and leadership. And later, I will also show you some examples about what we do in terms of enhancing leadership. And the third example is about we use data for exam key characteristics of students. This is about well-being. So during COVID, a lot of students mentioned about well-being. They really need more support about their well-being through their survey open-ended comments. And then in the survey, we added several new items on well-being to capture students' well-being. We measure students' different dimensions of well-being, like their emotional well-being, their eudaimonic well-being, like a meaning and purpose. We also measure their social well-being. And we've done a lot of analysis, like regression, structured equation modeling. And one key finding is that really well-being well-being really matters. Well-being actually strongly associated with a lot of indicators of student learning experience. So well-being is strongly associated with all aspects of their learning outcomes. Also, those students who feel like they have a high level of well-being tend to also have a high positive perception of peer goal standards by teaching assessment. So this indicates that well-being is not just something about mental health, but really well-being is really strongly related to students' learning. Also, according to meta-analysis, systematic review, well-being and learning are also reciprocally connect to each other and also can reinforce each other. So those are happier tend to learn better. Those learn better tend to be happier. So, and of course, from also some open-ended comments about well-being from our students. So, how does findings can what's the implications from this findings? So, what key message from the findings to us? How teachers could better cultivate student well-being. So there are many approaches. So maybe one way is to offer more support to our students and also create a psychologically safe space where students feel heard, feel valued, feel supported, and that all matters for their overall well-being, which in turn would also enhance students' overall learning experience and academic performance. So let me quickly share with you some of the examples how we may create some psychological safe space. For example, actively listen to students' needs and concerns. Encourage students to speak up and express their opinions, and also be approachable to students. For example, maybe showing up a little bit earlier before class for questions, discussions, also stay a bit late after class for having more time and for have a conversation with students in a less formal way, encourage open dialogue, respect diverse opinions, and also foster a sense of community, really the sense of belonging. The social connection is very important. From our interview with students, a social connection emerges as a very important indicator for student well-being. So basically, we found two important factors. One is academically related, another is socially reported, a related factor. These are two factors that are really important for student well-being. Another thing is about exams. So try not to schedule all exams of different courses at the same time. Maybe talk to other teachers at different courses. This will really adversely affect students' well-being. Okay, another one is about using data for inform pedagogical and assessment strategies. So this is about feedback. Actually, assessment feedback is a common issue, not just something happened in my university, but this is really a global issue. There's a lot of research talk about feedback. So basically, from our survey findings, both quantitative and qualitative findings show that students want more feedback, particularly more feedback on their exam performance. So what are some of the ways that we could do to improve feedback? Let me give you some examples. First is to ensure feedback is timely. So timely is a keyword for feedback. Another keyword is constructive. So make sure you give students constructive, specific feedback about not just about the areas for improvement, but also about their strengths, their positive feedback. And also maybe use some examples to illustrate your points and offer actionable suggestions for your students, how your student can improve. Another thing, very important, communicate clearly about the types of feedback available. Because many times students only recognize the written form of feedback as feedback. But sometimes we teachers offer oral feedback, right? This is also another form of feedback, but students didn't realize that. So really, this has to do with students perceptions about feedback. So my suggestion is to really communicate with students, hey, I'm giving you feedback. And also maybe incorporate some regular check-ins, like schedule some brief check-ins, maybe throughout the semester, in the middle of the semester, to discuss progress and address concerns that could also help about improving the feedback process. Another example is about how we making use of data to attend to some immediate needs. So this is through our ad hoc survey. Nowadays the growing role of Gen AI. So we have been conducting surveys, focus groups every year in recent years to collect students' opinions about their usage of Gen AI, their opinions, their perceptions about Gen AI, also some of the ethical issues they see about Gen AI. For example, a lot of them talk about the concern about the accuracy of the output generated by Gen AI. Plagiarism is another key issue, and also fairness, the equal access. These are all common issues shared by students. So what can we do with this data? So we share the findings to the course teachers, and some teachers, they will consider the feedback from students to maybe redesign their pedagogical strategies, assessment strategies to better incorporate Gen AI in your teaching. Also, we share the findings to program directors and also to university central committee, help them to formulate the university-wide policy and the ethical guidance, and also help them to refine that. By the way, this data was 2 years ago. We're just collecting the new data because this is really rapidly changing. So we'll see how the pattern have been evolved from students' perspective. And then finally, the last example is about enhancing learning environment. And also this is about how different source of data can be triangulated. So this is an example about the course evaluation. So from here we can see actually the teachers have really done a great job with course means of course question and higher than the common salary. So even the teacher output has to, and also from the open-ended format, students they really like the course. They like the structure, the content, the state, the assignments. So it's not very complicated course impacted that. But a little bit of the program back that it shows a feedback picture. For some of the area that very begin to see the resilience of curriculum on the section has it was so the life on technology and with the hourly. Also when he there the common year where we think that there will only down more exact law. For me, to overlook by students topic we talk about the poor and being fiction and authentic experience about work of along more from this from the activity. Also, I hope the environment could be better. So this demonstrate an example, and sometimes the course and the program effectiveness findings may not always converge. They may not always lead to the same conclusion, and there are various reasons from program to program. For this particular example, there's issue about the admin support, the logistics. So just a quick recap. So the above 6 examples covered the 3 areas. We talk about student learning outcomes, well-being, and we also talk about assessment feedback, e-learning, mainly Gen AI. We also talk about the data service, the overall KPI indicator, and also we talk about the course and program effectiveness, the mixture. And now let's do something together. So I really hope this is an opportunity for us to reflect on our teaching and also maybe crafting our teaching a little bit. So basically here I have a 2x2 matrix. One is about student feedback ranging from issues that are less frequently commented on to more frequently commented on like from local side. And another dimension is about teacher fraud. So basically, maybe some vision students are commenting on IT high quality, and some others I don't see high quality. So let me give you some quick example. So this one could be the about student mentioned about more feedback. I also see as a high priority. So is it a example put in here? And example of G, maybe not about student how about Gen AI, but as a teacher, I really see it is a high priority for me to incorporate some Gen AI techniques to my teaching. So I'll put it here. And then here maybe manager comment out they want to work on the immediate resources, but I don't see it as a priority. I consider the current already is sufficient. So I will put it here on a higher priority, maybe with the labor company was that. And also, example here is about the frequency of quizzes. Maybe both students and me as a teacher, we we feel neutral about the frequency of quizzes, not too much, not too little. So in this exercise, I invite you to first reflect on your teaching. When you think of some examples to relate to the board on cells in the matrix, and then we'll have some time for good discussion. So feel free to discuss with your neighbors to share your thoughts, and also maybe you could collectively come up some strategies, particularly for here, how you practice your teaching, how you think of some strategy to address that, or even home like feedback issue, how I made my feedback process better for my students. Oh, and also, yeah, some of you already can and cannot. Also, this is a pendulum set up for you to feel free to share your thought here. So let's do maybe like a 7 minutes because I do wanna we leave some time for Q&A. So yeah, maybe start with some individual reflection and then feel free to discuss with your neighbors. All right. So how's the discussion? Any sharings? I heard some language issue here, right? It's also common in my university. Yeah. Like they talk about a language barrier not just in classroom, but happen in the hall and also in a lot of social activities by student societies. Yeah. And some other sharing, any other issues you see really a high priority? Okay, let me share with you some of the issues I discussed earlier. So the first case is about feedback. So here are some of the programs, so how they have been doing. So one program is talk about at the department level to encourage every teacher to give feedback on their examination. They also encourage the individual feedback. And this is another program. So basically, they focus on the capstone. They adopt a structured approach for feedback, asking different lecturers to focus on different components about feedback. And then for this one, yeah, timely and also communicate explicitly about feedback to students. That really helps. And also a two-way feedback mechanism between teachers and students. Another case is about leadership, the example I shared earlier. So again, here are some examples how different programs have been coming up with different strategies to try to enhance student leadership. So one program focus on offering some tutorial or coaching sessions for develop or enhance student leadership skills. Another program is focus on career guidance. So offering opportunities for inviting alumni to share about their career experience. and from that angle approach leadership. And also a school provided different opportunities, such as some life enrichment program allows students to really actively engage in these activities, for example, serve as ambassadors to take a leadership role in these activities. So as you see, there's really no one size fits all solution. Different program, according to the nature of their own program, come up different solutions for address the issue. And also another case about the the divergent pictures between course and the program effectiveness. So this faculty, they review the assessment process, avoid deadlines, and also adopt the student's partner approach to involving students in this process. And a program also emphasize communication, frequently communicating within the program office, the admin team, and also reviewing the instant feedback. And also another program is about encourage students to take an active role in leading the social in-class activities. And also they talk about frequent casual communications to really force a sense of community within the program. So towards the end of my talk, also here are some of the examples about collecting data, analyzing data, and interpreting data. So when it comes to evidence of student learning, there are two types of evidence: direct evidence, for example, student assignment, their performance capstone, their experiential learning profile, and indirect evidence such as surveys. So this is what I focus on in this talk. And also there are different types of ways to analyze the data, including both quantitative or qualitative data. For example, look at it the descriptive statistics, also like correlation, regression, look at the relational predictive analytics, and longitudinal tracking is another way to look at the data, and the psychometric analysis, make sure the reliability, validity of the data. And also there's a lot of qualitative data, such as open-ended comments, focus group, interviews data, like for example, through traditional thematic analysis or some big data, text analytics or virtualization. And when it comes to interpreting data, taking into the context is really important, because every course is different, every program is different. So really we take into account the whole context into consideration when we interpret the data, look for patterns and trends, for example, longitudinally and also horizontally between different subgroups. Also, we have a very interesting discussion when it comes to comparing the perceptions between local and non-local students. For example, local, mainland, and international students. Usually, I mean, these three groups comes from a very different background and also come from very different expectation. So usually what we found across the board is mainland students that usually tend to be very positive on everything. More positive than their local peers or international peers. And also triangulating different data sources involve multiple stakeholders, teachers, students, senior managers, and also admin colleagues, and how to leverage emerging technologies. And also when we have the quantitative data ready, it gives a picture about the overall students' profiles, but we really need to dig into the details, the nuances, the depths of the finding that could be done through focus groups, some qualitative findings. So finally, some recommendations when it comes to using data for improving teaching learning. Actually, there are various ways of analyzing the data. As researchers, we tend to love, advanced theories, sophisticated analytics techniques. But when it comes to this evidence-based teaching learning context, so really think about how to generate actionable insights, make it straightforward and also easy to digest and understandable is the key. And then number two, oftentimes we spend a lot of time criticize ourselves, look for the areas for improvement. But really, we also need to be capitalizing on the good, the strengths, and sharing of good practices among colleagues, among different programs and departments. And also, this using data for teaching learning exercise is not a one-off exercise, but really this is a regular process. It's a regularly review for continuous, for ongoing improvement. And also there are a couple of challenges. One is about time. So we all are quite busy with research, teaching of various things, and we really have limited time for collecting data, analyzing data, interpreting data, and also data overload. The issue of survey fatigue. Nowadays, there's too much surveys. And also be mindful about the privacy concerns. We have to really follow the personal data guideline and also the ethical guidelines. And to move things forward, one direction I would like to see is to mainly to foster a culture of using data for teaching learning. So this is not a one-off exercise. It's not only a access for a particular program, but maybe a cross-institution approach, more like a fostering a culture, how we can make good use of data for continuous teaching improvement for teaching learning. And another thing is nowadays how we can really make good use of emerging technologies and AI and big data to enhance our data AI literacy, students AI data literacy, to find creative ways to incorporate data and the technology to further advance this process. So with that, I'll stop here. I think we have 2 minutes left for question and answers.